Welcome back to the SEAL Report for this week. I want to let you know about a new local effort, how you can be an anti-racist by joining this year's Cedar Valley Diversity Book Read. Today we're going to hear from two members of that Cedar Valley team, the Reverend Kathy Young and Joy Briscoe of the Waterloo Community School District.
This is actually the community-wide book read. Each year you and I would do a book read that really addressed issues that were concerning our community at that time. So they've done book reads about racism and other things associated with that. But this year, in the current state and climate, but the way our community has decided to be really intentional and really breaking down barriers, we thought it'd be something really important for us to do if we actually came together as a community to have some of these critical discussions. And so we're extremely excited because pretty much all the organizations we've mentioned it to have stepped up and said, yes, we want to be a part of it.
And all of this is going to be based on one particular book, isn't it? So tell everybody about that.
Our whole project is based on How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi, and he's a national best-selling author. He's done a phenomenal job of setting a tone for us to have really critical conversations here in our community.
As both of you have worked on this project, Pastor Young, what have you learned from this book as a white person?
And what I have learned from this is that the brilliance of Ibram Kendi is he takes us on a journey. He shares enough of his own experiences and he talks about his own journey and how he has changed over the years in the way in which he looks at people and groups, and he has matured. And because I could follow his journey, it is a very non-threatening way to look at my own journey and what can I learn. And I learned a tremendous amount from this book.
So this is something, Joy, you're definitely recommending. You'd like to see the entire community get involved in this. That's why you call it a community-wide effort. And what have you learned as an African American?
A lot of the discussions we're having, particularly as it pertains to race and racism, they're comprehensive, right? They're complex. So while we had the discussion a while back about executive leadership and hiring, but we also need to talk about beliefs and things that also attribute to racism in our community. And I love this book because even for myself, it made me think about some things that I never really thought about before. Like the opposite of being racist is not that I'm not racist, but to be an anti-racist, right? So if a part of considering yourself not racist means that you are actually doing things that counter racism. And so I think that proactive stance towards it gives a different spin that many people, prior to this book and us me getting involved in this process, because I'm about halfway through the book, but prior to me getting involved in this process, I hadn't really necessarily thought about it in that context either. So I'm excited about us to do that as a community.
It will be launched on October 1st, and we are in the process now of trying to reach people to tell them about this project. This is not a threatening book. This is not a book that is anti-police or it is a book that helps open our eyes to the ways in which we look at individuals as representatives of groups of people, or we look at groups of people as representatives of individuals. And so in putting together the groups, we are also going to have training for the facilitators. We're hoping the small groups, which will mostly be done through Zoom, but they also can be Facebook, they can be live if people feel comfortable, and we're also going to give people an access to a free conference calling app so that there are multiple ways that people can get together, but we don't want the groups to go over 20 people. And we are training the facilitators. Then on October 1st, we hope that all people will begin to read the book. And on Thursday nights, there will be panels from various fields. One is law enforcement, one is education, one is business leaders, another is politicians and community leaders. There will be 5 of those, and on Thursday nights that people can access on Facebook, and they will be discussing the chapters as they progress in the book, so that we hope that by Halloween people will have finished the book, discussed the book, and can look back and see how much they have learned and grown from the opportunity.
We're doing everything virtually now, so how can people
Yes.
get involved in this? What do you want people to do?
Yeah, so if you actually visit our Facebook page, and it's linked to you and I's Diversity Matters page, you can actually sign up for an individual book read. So for example, you and I has one, we'll be starting one at the schools, but we let people have the autonomy to set those the way they want to. So if you're comfortable meeting in person, you can meet in person. If you're comfortable meeting on Zoom, you can meet on Zoom. If you want to meet via the phone, because someone pointed out to me that a lot of times with different populations in our community, they're still comfortable with meeting over the phone. And so we want people to have the autonomy to really have these critical conversations. So we welcome that, and we also have facilitator training.
There is a particular Facebook page, and then there are several emails that people who have questions can contact us, and hopefully the media will help distribute that. One thing we want to stress is we're asking people to form groups in their places of work, houses of worship, civic groups, sororities, men's groups, whatever. But we also are reaching out to individuals, because individuals can sign up. They'll be assigned to a group and given a facilitator. They can also, when they sign up, indicate if they would like to become a facilitator and receive the training. And so we really want to be as inclusive in our invitation as this book seeks to celebrate the diversity that is wonderful in the Cedar Valley.
Having that stance of how active we need to proactively move to counter racism is extremely important. And one of the things Kathy and I were just chatting about is even myths, like how oftentimes people associate crime with race, when essentially crime is associated with opportunity. When people have higher employment levels, there's lower amounts of crime. And that's across the gamut. That's not for blacks, that's not for whites, that's for people in general. And so I love that this will open up the door for us to have more of those conversations.
We hope that this book and the ensuing discussions and our celebrity panels will help give ideas at a grassroots level for ways in which then we can move into action steps. Because racism and phobias of different people or groups contribute to systemic racism, and we really want to see, one thing the book says is banks lend at twice the rate to white entrepreneurs as they do to black. We have to take a look at our employment, and that is a national statistic. I'm not saying that that's true locally, but we just have to make sure that this is an equitable and just community in which to live, and we need to find more employment opportunities for people who are in perhaps marginalized groups.
We're going to have conversations across multiple disciplines. So there'll be conversations across law enforcement, there'll be conversations with political officials, there'll be conversations with diversity practitioners, because again, it's comprehensive, it's a complex issue. And so in addressing it and having these conversations, there has to be multiple groups involved. There can't be just the same old kind of group of people that are always talking about diversity. You're used to Joy Briscoe talking about diversity, but seeing some other people take active stance in how to be an anti-racism is really going to be impactful for our community.
And a big thank you to Joy Briscoe and Pastor Kathy Young for letting us know about the October 1st launch of the community-wide anti-racism effort. Be sure to check out their Facebook page on how you can get involved.